A 998 millibar low that is near hurricane-strength central pressure is quietly building over the central United States, aimed squarely at 6 states by Tuesday. Dew points in the low 70s surging out of the Gulf, cold air digging down from Canada, and a trough about to flip negatively tilted the atmosphere is loading up fast. And somewhere on a farm west of Little Rock, a 67-year-old farmer named Earl is watching the sky turn that shade of green-gray he last saw in April 2011. Earl knows what that sky means. 340 tornadoes touched down that day. He has never forgotten that color, and he is not imagining it now. Stay with me, because at the 6-minute mark, I am going to walk you through a pattern signal in this storm that has forecasters genuinely sitting up straight right now. And hang tight to the end, because there is a longer range piece most people are not talking about yet, and it directly affects your plans a week from today. Straight talk from me this morning. Confidence in the exact timing is still building, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But confidence has been building with every single model run, and what I am seeing now deserves your full attention starting today, not Tuesday morning when it is already firing. Before we get into the details, I want you to think about someone like Margaret, a 64-year-old retired teacher outside Memphis. Margaret told her daughter the hardest part was waking up at 1 in the morning with no plan, no safe room, and 2 grandkids looking up at her for answers. Margaret has a plan now. Her safe room is sorted. Her alerts are on. She told me she feels like a completely different person going into this week. That is the mindset I want every person watching this to have before Tuesday night, because what is setting up gives us time to be ready. Now let's talk about what is already happening today, Saturday, May 3rd, because there is an active weather story playing out across the southeast right now. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk level 2 out of 5 covering southern Georgia and the northern areas of Florida this morning. That is a 15% probability of severe weather within 25 miles of any point in that zone, and the main hazard driving this today is the wind threats. Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Gainesville, and the Big Bend region of Florida are the areas to watch most closely through midday today. And here is something most people overlook. There is a 2% tornado probability in that highlighted zone. That is a real, official number. The good news is this is a morning into early afternoon event for the southeast, and most of the severe threat settles down by late afternoon. Meanwhile, freeze warnings are up across parts of the central Appalachians this morning, and cold air has a death grip on the eastern third of the country. That cold footprint is not random, y'all. It is driven by the same trough that is now loading up the ammunition for what comes next week. Now I want to come back to Earl for a second, because his read on this sky matters more than any computer model right now. Earl has farmed that land outside Little Rock for 35 years. He has seen hundreds of storms roll through. He knows which ones hum and which ones howl. He told his son 3 days ago that this spring feels like it cannot let go, that it keeps reloading, keeps finding new energy. And y'all, Earl is right. That is exactly the word I would use looking at these models. This pattern is not finished. Here's the big picture. And I am going to give you the honest version, not the dumbed down version, because you deserve to understand why this storm is different. Right now, meteorologists are watching a trough over the western U.S. flip from positively tilted to negatively tilted as it ejects east over the next 72 hours. Here's what that means in plain language. A negatively tilted trough is meteorology's way of saying the storm system flat out means business. Think of it like a top spinning. When it starts wobbling and tilting the wrong way, it is about to do something dramatic. That is this trough right now. And the European model is showing that transition happening squarely over populated areas of the eastern U.S., and that is why the next 72 hours of next week matter. Now let's talk about the fuel, because a trough alone does not make a severe weather outbreak. You need moisture, and the moisture picture for next week is genuinely impressive. Dew points are going to surge out of the Gulf ahead of this system's 60s and low 70s, pushing through Arkansas, Tennessee, and into parts of southern Illinois. When you have dew points in the low 70s and a powerful jet stream riding right over that moisture pool, you have storms that can pack a serious punch. Plain and simple, the atmosphere is going to be loaded. That is the technical term, and it is the honest one. Now I need to stop right here, because what sets up for Tuesday evening through Thursday morning is the kind of setup that experienced forecasters track very carefully. I am not naming all the cities yet. Hear the setup first, but there is a corridor where Tuesday through Thursday could rival anything from late April. Here's something that should get your attention. The Storm Prediction Center has already, as of this morning, issued a formal slight risk for Tuesday, May 6th. That covers southeast Oklahoma, a good chunk of Arkansas, the northwest corner of Louisiana, and northeast Texas. 15% probability of severe weather within 25 miles of any location. The threats on Tuesday are damaging winds, large hail, and an elevated tornado threat, and I want to be straight with you about something. Tuesday is not the main event. Tuesday is the opening act. The main show builds throughout Wednesday, and it builds hard. Arkansas, y'all have been through it this spring, and I know you are bone tired of this, but Tuesday puts you back under the gun, no question about it. Missouri and Illinois, you are sitting just north of the main confidence zone right now, but that can shift. Do not let your guard down Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday, May 7th, this is the day I told you about at the very top. The negatively tilted trough establishes right over the deep south, and the setup goes full strength. As that low pressure strengthens and ejects northeast, it organizes a robust severe weather threat across the south-central U.S. and the deep south. By Wednesday morning, we are already waking up to widespread thunderstorm activity from central Texas northward through eastern Oklahoma, right down through the mid-Mississippi Valley. The severe weather threat on Wednesday is the highest confidence setup of this entire sequence, all three main hazards on the table, all at the same time. Eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Tennessee Valley, you are all in the Wednesday picture, and good grief. This is a serious setup. Memphis, Little Rock, Jackson, Birmingham, Wednesday is your day. Get your shelter plan locked and loaded before Tuesday night, not Wednesday morning. And here's the piece I cannot say enough. Wednesday evening into Wednesday night is when the real punch likely arrives. Nighttime severe weather is the most dangerous kind. Most people are asleep. Have a radio or phone alert that wakes you up without you needing to already be awake. For mobile home residents anywhere across the south-central U.S. and the deep south, I am talking directly to you right now. A mobile home is not safe in severe thunderstorm conditions. No exceptions. Get your off-site shelter identified this weekend while things are calm enough to think clearly. Real quick right here, I need to know something. Where are you watching from this morning? Drop your city in the comments right now. I check these all week, and if your area ends up under a warning, I will come back with a specific heads up for you. Now, Thursday, May 8th is a completely different story, and this is the signal I promised you at the top that most people are completely sleeping on. As the storm fully ejects and that trough goes negatively tilted, the Euro shows a surface low reaching into the 980 millibar range near Pittsburgh Thursday morning. 980 millibars is a strong surface low. That is the kind of central pressure associated with a windstorm, not just a rainstorm. A low that strong tracking across interior Pennsylvania generates a low-level jet, a river of wind energy, a mile above your head, pushing 60 to 75 knots. That low-level jet funnels north through the mid-Atlantic up the I-95 corridor and maxes out over southern New England, and some of that energy absolutely mixes down to the surface. New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Providence, Thursday afternoon and evening is your time to watch for damaging wind gusts. This is a real windstorm signal if the Euro verifies. Charlotte, Richmond, Washington, D.C., heavy rain and embedded severe thunderstorms are on the table Thursday morning as this system tracks through. And for New England and Atlantic Canada, if this plays out the way the Euro shows, this is a storm. Worth your full attention Thursday into Thursday nights. You know who I keep thinking about right now, Margaret, in Memphis? While most people are going about their Saturday not thinking about Wednesday yet, Margaret already has her radio charged and her grandkids' shelter plan sorted. That is the difference that saves lives, not luck, and not getting lucky with the track. It is preparation done on a calm Saturday morning, not a frantic Tuesday night. Now let's zoom out and look at what comes after Thursday, because the story does not end with this storm system. The cold air behind this system digs right back in, and next weekend is showing temperatures running 10 to 15 degrees below average for the upper part of the country. And for the farmers and gardeners watching from the Midwest, Great Lakes, or Upper Ohio Valley here is something worth knowing before you make any planting decisions. Think about someone like Dale in central Nebraska who put his first seedlings in the ground last week thinking the cold was finally done. The pattern says not yet. Dale. Another frost and freeze risk is coming behind this storm for next weekend. Do not put those plants in the ground quite yet. The longer range signal, honest caveat confidence drops this far out, still shows below average temperatures persisting across much of the eastern U.S. well into mid-May. This is a stubborn, reluctant spring, folks. The trough keeps rebuilding, keeps dragging cold air south, and the warmth that wants to arrive keeps getting shoved back. Meanwhile, out west, the story is the complete opposite, and I do not want to forget those folks. Temperatures are climbing toward above average across the western states, and that warm ridge out west is actually the engine on one side, helping the low pressure intensify. The contrast between cold trough in the east and warm ridge in the west is the atmospheric seesaw that keeps generating back-to-back active weather for the central and eastern states. And let's not lose track of the flooding picture, because southeast Texas and coastal Louisiana are still dealing with significant rainfall on top of what this storm system will bring. Houston has already seen heavy rain over the past several days, and additional flooding is possible next week alongside the severe weather. Turn around, don't drown. Flash flooding is a real threat stacked on top of the severe weather risk for Houston, coastal Louisiana, and surrounding areas. All right, here's the flat-out straight action plan for every American family this week, broken down by where you live. If you're in southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas, Arkansas, or northwest Louisiana, Tuesday is day one, with large hail and damaging winds primary. If you are in the mid-Mississippi Valley, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, or eastern Texas, Wednesday is your main event, with all hazards severe weather possible, including organized tornadoes. If you are along the I-95 corridor from the Carolinas through the mid-Atlantic and into New England, Thursday is your day, damaging winds and heavy rain primary. If you are in the Midwest, Great Lakes, or upper Ohio Valley, the cold is not done with you. Another frost and freeze risk follows this storm next weekend. And no matter where you live, charge your phone, turn on weather alerts, and know the difference between a watch and a warning before this week kicks off. Now here is one genuine piece of good news, and I mean this, it is real, not me just trying to balance things out. There is a brief ridge spike building into the east just before the storm arrives, and for a couple of days early next week, temperatures tick above average. It will not feel like summer, but it will feel more like May should feel. Enjoy that warmth window on Monday because the cold and the storms come right behind it. Let me leave you with this because it matters more than any single storm system or model run. We opened this morning with three things: near hurricane central pressure building in the central U.S. Gulf, moisture surging into southern Illinois, and Earl's sky. None of that is exaggerated. None of it is cherry-picked. It is the setup on the board right now, and it deserves your attention this week. I think about Earl on that porch, reading the sky the way 35 years of farming teaches you to, knowing something is coming before any model tells him so. And I think about Margaret in Memphis, completely different person going into this week than she was going into last spring, because she took the time to get a plan. Those two people are who we do this for, getting real information to real people while there is still time to use it. Do me a solid right now if you know somebody in Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, or anywhere along I-95, send this to them today. A real heads up from someone they trust is worth 10 push notifications they are going to swipe away without reading. And if you have not dropped your city in the comments yet, do it now and tell me what the weather looks like where you are. If warnings get posted for your area between Tuesday and Thursday, I will come back and give you a specific breakdown for your location. That is a promise. We are tracking every model run and every SPC update on this storm all week long, and the details on timing will sharpen fast over the next 24 hours. Turn on your notifications so you do not miss a single update, because the window to get your plan in place is this weekend and it closes faster than you think. This storm is not fully written yet, but the ingredients are on the board, and we will be right here every step of the way as it unfolds.